Hey, Galpin, if you were stranded on a desert island and you could only have one of your possessions with you, which possession would you pick?
Good question. I'd have to say the quilt my great-grandmother made for me. It means a lot to me.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you? What possession would you want to take?
Oh, definitely my inflatable raft.
Your raft?
Yeah, I bought an inflatable raft just in case someone asked me this desert island question. You gotta admit an inflatable raft will come in pretty handy on a desert island.
Toily, that's cheating. The point of the question is to...
Show's starting, we gotta go!
Live from Hollywood, it's Wednesdays with Toily. With Toily's special guest, singer-songwriter Dean Friedman. Plus, a visit with John B. DeHaas. I'm your announcer, Galpin Ford, and now, here's your host, Toily T. Paper!
Thank you so much! Thank you, it's great to be here. We have another wonderful episode of Wednesdays with Toily for you, and we are going to start it off, as we usually do, with a little visit with our good friend, John B. DeHaas! John, thanks for putting in the minimum amount of effort. I really appreciate it.
I didn't know where that song was going, and it went nowhere, obviously.
Yeah, I'm doing good, John. I'm doing good. You know, we're hanging in there. We're people getting vaccinated, and we're gonna squash this virus, and it's gonna be wonderful.
Yep, exactly.
Where is the first place you want to book a trip to once you can travel anywhere you want to go? I know you have one already planned.
I have 2 trips planned to Ohio, but ideally, I would, of course, come out and see you, my friend.
Yeah, and just me, not Disneyland, nothing else, just me.
Just you. We'll just sit in the apartment, stare at each other for hours on end.
I'd watch that show. I'd watch the hell out of that show. I'd watch it.
We'd also go out for food. We'd get our fix of all the California fixins I've not had for the last 2 years.
Look, John, we can't talk about food every single time we come on here. We can't.
I'm just saying, I would do that. Come to California for sure. Yes.
John, yes. What is the greatest birthday cake you've ever had?
Greatest birthday cake. I think when I was every year I would get a cassata cake. You know what that is?
No.
It's an Italian cake. It's got like yellow cake with strawberries, like a strawberry sauce, then more cake, and then like a custard, then more cake, and then whatever. The whole thing was frosted like in a white buttercream type thing. Yeah, every year I get one of those for my birthday. So
excellent. I remember one year my mom made me a Big Bird cake. Like when I was a little kid, she made me a Big Bird cake, but she made it and she frosted it and everything. It was really amazing.
Yeah, it was good. It tasted good. It didn't remember. It doesn't matter. It looked
well, I mean, it was just kind of a regular birthday cake. I think it was probably vanilla or something, but it looked great. It looked like she did like little fancy piping for the feathers and everything. It really looked amazing. And I remember back in the 70s, I think it was, late 70s, early 80s, one of the good things, like the things that was very trendy, not for me, I didn't have this cake, but girls would have a birthday cake that had a Barbie doll stuck in the cake, and it was like a dress. Yeah. Like the cake was like a dress. Yeah, that was very popular.
Sean made one of those cakes once for a friend of ours for her birthday.
Yeah, those are
as a joke. Yeah,
extremely popular to do that. Well, John, play us a little music. Let's hear a little music.
How about some bossa nova?
Thank you as always. You are a true master. Well, John, it was great talking to you. I will talk to you again soon.
I will. Yes, take care. Bye, everybody.
All right, bye, everybody. Play us out, John. Thank you, John. All right. Well, we've got a wonderful guest. Galpin, please tell us who our guest is.
Toily, today's guest has top 40 hits in the United States and United Kingdom. Please welcome Dean Friedman.
Dean Friedman, welcome to Wednesdays with Toily.
Toily, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I can't believe how excited I am.
My gosh, I'm so excited to talk to you. You're a music legend, and I'm honored that you are on my show.
It's a pleasure. I was introduced to you by a good friend, Boothby Graffo, and I thought you guys were hilarious, and it's a pleasure to be joining your company.
Excellent. Well, I'm so excited to have you here. Let me ask you, you started playing guitar at a very young age, right?
I got my first guitar when I was 9 years old. I was saved up a bag of quarters on my newspaper route. And then I went down to 48th Street in Manhattan to all that Music Row and walked into Sam Ash Music and I dumped the quarters on the table and I bought my first guitar. And I've been strumming and plucking strings ever since.
Holy moly!
A little shrunk down version.
Yeah, now I know you play guitar and you got a ukulele there, and I could see a keyboard there behind you. How many instruments do you play?
Well, those are the main instruments. I play a little bit of harmonica.
That's a big harmonica.
It's all a perspective.
Oh, I see.
But I grew up, playing mostly guitar and keyboard. A little harmonica, but now with synthesizers, you could play any instrument with all the samples. So
yeah, you got a whole band there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Now, you also, at a young age, shortly after you got your guitar, you started writing songs. Being so young, what were those songs about?
Oh, well, they were innocent love songs. When you start out, I grew up like everybody else, every other songwriter and musician. Loving the Beatles and the Monkees, and so at first you sort of learn those songs, and then you sort of imitate them, and like in the case of the Monkees, you ape them, and and then after a while, once you get a feel for it, you start putting words together, and those early songs were all about. I'd love to take a swim with you in the summertime. Oh, yeah, we'd swim so far in the ocean so blue in the summertime. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
That sounds like fun, though. Yeah.
My first song that I wrote, that's called Summertime, and my fourth grade teacher, Judy Wise, who I had a mad crush on. And so her brother was in the music business and played a recording of that song for a publishing company called Elevator Music. And they actually offered me a contract for that song, publishing contract, and I rehearsed my signature for a week. And then I had a meeting, a signing meeting, and over milk and cookies, and I wrote my name. About a month later, the company went bankrupt, which sort of foreshadows my entire music career. But it gave me a lot of confidence, and I've been writing songs ever since.
Well, I think a lot of kids, they don't have any idea what they even want to do with their life when they're about 20 years old. But at that point, you did get a record contract when you were 20. Did you know at that time, like, this is it, music is going to be my life?
Well, I grew up in a house filled with music. My mom was a singer and a performer, so there was always some Broadway show tune on the piano. So music was always going to be a part of my life. But when I was a teenager and I started playing coffee houses, eventually, people would offer me a couple of bucks, and I started getting paid for doing something I was going to do anyway. And I thought, wow, that's brilliant. You can make money at this. And I didn't think it completely through, but I just kept doing it. And a generation before me, everyone grew up, kids aspired to be like a cowboy or an astronaut. But as I was sort of coming of age, there were all these great singer-songwriters and bands that were on the radio. And so the thing that you had an ambition to do in those days was to be a singer-songwriter. And so I followed through.
And you wrote a bunch of songs, and in 1977 you had a big hit with the song Ariel, and that song is about the singer falling in love with a girl named Ariel, and it plays out like a little love story in the song. Was there really an Ariel? Was that song based on a true experience you had?
Well, I wrote the song. It was sort of a composite. It was a sort of a combination of all these teenage girls I had a crush on growing up in Paramus, New Jersey. And so it wasn't just one person, although in retrospect, I did finally wind up meeting, a pot-smoking Jewish girl in a peasant dress in Riverside Park after I signed my first deal, and fell in love with her, and we've been married over 40 years, except her name is Allison. So it shares some of the letters with Ariel, but not all exact. So eventually I did wind up marrying Ariel. I just didn't know it when I wrote the song.
That's amazing. That is fantastic. Now, I first became familiar with your songs through a cover of your song "McDonald's Girl" by Bare Naked Ladies, and it's a fantastic song. I love that song. But I was surprised to read that it was banned by the BBC.
Banned by the BBC, that's right. And let's see, how can I tell you about that? "McDonald's Girl" was officially banned by the BBC, something I have in common with the Sex Pistols. And the Kinks.
Nice.
The song Lola was originally Coca-Cola. They had to change it to Cherry Cola. But they were afraid in those days because the BBC is pretty much government radio and non-commercial radio, so that they were not allowed to have anything that had a hint of commercialism. So, McDonald's Girl came out. It was banned. The commercial stations, there were only a few at the time in the UK and Ireland. They played it. But I was frustrated and disappointed. But just a few years later, a then unknown band out of Canada called Bare Naked Ladies, as you say, did a cover version of my song, "McDonald's Girl," and it was their first airplay hit in Canada. And that started things off again. It was very satisfying that song insisted on being heard.
Right, and eventually it was used in a McDonald's commercial.
That's true. Well, it became a #1 record in Norway for a band called the Blenders. And then bear in mind, Toilet, this was 30 years after I released the song. I got a call from the corporate headquarters of McDonald's. And they said, "Mr. Friedman, we'd like to offer you... we'd like to license your song for a national TV and radio campaign." And I said, "Wow, that's awesome. What took you so fucking long?" but I was delighted, and again, it sort of proved to me that the song insisted on being heard. It was just a pure pop song, and I was always fond of it, and songs are like little kids. People sometimes ask, what's your favorite song? You can't have a favorite song. You love them all. It's just some are better behaving than others. Some are full of mischief and get you into trouble. But, some, at the end of the day, they help keep the electricity turned on.
Exactly. Well, now you've written serious songs and you've written funny songs, and I know that even some of your a lot of your serious songs have little touches of humor in them, but do you prefer writing serious songs or overtly funny songs?
Well, you know what? I think about what I do as really writing short stories that are set to music. I guess I'm one of those writers, for the most part, I abide by that axiom, which is to write about what I know. Although then on occasions I'll use my poetic license to lie and make things up. But in general, I'm writing about stories of my friends and family or my own life. And so it's, life is sometimes tragic and sometimes hilarious. So it's hard to write even a serious song without just a slight wry sense of humor, just to kind of maintain perspective on how absurd the world can be.
Absolutely. Well, Dean, I would love it if you would favor us with a song right now.
I'd be happy to, Toily. And I was trying to pick a song to do here, and a question occurred to me, and I don't know if you're comfortable answering this, but I was just sort of wondering about the nature of your birth, your heritage, and how it is that you came to be. And for example, I mean, do you have a birthday?
I do have a birthday. I don't like giving out the year because I work in Hollywood, so I don't want to age myself. But I was born in May, and my story is. Oh, are you a Taurus like me?
No, I'm a Gemini on I guess what they call the cusp.
On the cusp. All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, well, and, my story really begins when my mom, a beautiful, beautiful tree, fell in love with my dad, an industrial toilet paper making machine, and they fell in love, and then me and about 500 of my brothers and sisters were all churned out, and that's pretty much my story.
Well, that's a touching love story, although it really must make your wrist sore when you're, writing holiday cards
Right, yeah.
to all your siblings.
Yeah. I just send them a link. I go to this website. That's my holiday card.
That's probably wise. Cool. All right. Well, the song I've chosen is sort of just another birthday song.
Great.
And so, and seeing as May is approaching pretty quickly, this will be a sort of a premature birthday wish to Toily. So here you go.
Excellent.
You must have had a lot of ambition and emission on a mission. You must have been a real good swimmer to beat out all the competition. And just like Rocky Balboa, you whipped all the other spermatozoa. And it's a good thing it all worked out that way, or we wouldn't be able to be here to hear you sing, today. We're really, really glad that you were born. It's wonderful to hear that you survived another year. You're like a great big box of buttered popcorn. We really, really love you. We just can't get enough of you. We celebrate this so special day. You must have looked so cute in your birthday suit. The doctor took one look and said, oy vey. You must have made your mama shout the moment you popped out. And no sooner than you let out your first cry, they could tell that you were blessed and destined for success. And even if that last line was a lie, still they thought you were kind of sweet. So in the end they decided to keep you. We're really, really glad that you were born. You're really quite unique, can't help but pinch you on the cheek. And like the mythological unicorn, there's nobody quite like you, that's why we really, really like you. So blow out all the candles on your cake. Enjoy a great big plateful and remember to be grateful, because even though you were most likely a mistake, somehow you made it through, and that's how we got you. Remember, even though you're 1 year older, despite all the things you did, you're still just a kid. So if you ever need a shoulder to cry on, we'd be happy to be of assistance, except for, social distancing. We're really, really glad that you were born. You really ought to give thanks that your dad wasn't shooting blanks. So ring the bell and toot your horn. Dance around and jump and shout. And don't forget to thank your mom for pushing you out. Happy almost birthday, Toily.
Oh my gosh, Dean Friedman, that was awesome. That was incredible. I think that should be the new official birthday song. I think they got to get rid of Happy Birthday and use that.
That works for me.
All right. Now, if folks want to follow you online and check out all your stuff, where can they go?
They're all invited to visit my website, which is deanfriedman.com. And that's Friedman is Friedman. And you can also find me on Facebook, Dean Friedman Music, and on YouTube. and Twitter at Dean Friedman, all the likely social media locations. And drop me a line, and I'll keep you posted. I've been doing my own webcast at the last Sunday of every month. So I've got one coming up on April 25th. And again, if you just visit my website, send me an email, I'll let you know when it's coming up and invite you along.
Excellent. Well, Dean Friedman, thank you so much for being here. It was an absolute pleasure and an honor to have you on the show.
And the feeling is mutual, Toily, and I wish you all the very, very best and much, much success and a very happy upcoming birthday.
Happy birthday to you too, pal. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, John. Well, what a wonderful show we've had today. My thanks to Dean Friedman for being our special guest. My thanks to John B. DeHaas. And my thanks to you for tuning in. I love y'all, but Galpin, get us out of here, because I gotta go!
You've been watching Wednesdays with Toily, starring Toily Tea Paper, with special guest Dean Friedman and musical director John B. DeHaas. For Wednesdays with Toily, this is your announcer, Galpin Ford, saying good night. Galpin Ford's wardrobe provided by Sims of North Hollywood.